By the way, here's a simple question for you. How big is the 2%?
It's pretty big.
How big?
Oh, compared to what? Compared to the 98%?
Sure.
Well, I don't even know. I don't know. How big is the 2% compared to?
So, okay, let's bring in another number. And I'm not done with this yet. Let's bring in another number.
70.
Let's make it big. Point 2.
How big is that?
That's bigger than it is. So we're just making it bigger than it is. What this number is this is the percentage of that you can focus, that you can get into your attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really, let's make it huge. Let's say that 2% of this 2% gets into your attention.
How big is that? It's not very big at all.
So what if you're referencing this, not this, is inside? Because to this 2% that gets in your attention, 98% of it remained back here. The math very simply will give you the same effect.
Yes.
Right there.
Is that thinking about the bits? And the change out then is still that we're only changing out a portion, and at the 2% we're only changing out a portion.
2% is the maximum.
Right.
And that's if every single time you change it out, you change them all.
Right.
It would be less than 2%
Right, when you're holding.
if you're holding any of them in place. So you're accessing inside a simulation of a simulation.
Yes.
The best among us. Roomy. Had just as little room as we do. How sure do you dare be? Now here is a simply defined word. How sure do you dare be when you've got 2% of a 2% of a 98%?
Full of shit.
How certain do you dare be?
We always are, but
We always are. We dare be 100% certain. We dare be 100% certain with only that much of that much of that much. This is the definition of a human. That's a human. Right there. You can't possibly get to know yourself until you discover this chain of command. And I don't mean intellectually. I mean behaviorally. As you start to get this behaviorally, you will fall in love with being 100% certain when everything is completely and utterly stacked against you. And you go, yeah, I got it. I finally understand it. This is a Joe moment. It doesn't stop you from doing this. If you're trying not to do this, You're trying not to be human. How many of you have attempted to hedge your bets? Over and over and over again. And you say, I don't care about any of these percents. I'm going to create my own world in which there are 2 points and there's a percentage between those 2 points, and that counts as one of the relevant percentages of my life. And meanwhile, you're arguing about some phenomenally fractional percent of some phenomenally already fraction of all of, with great certainty. That's amusement. That's humor. It doesn't get funnier than that, and we're that fun. I'm sure we are. How would you dare be sure of anything? The answer is, because I'm human. I would dare be sure of anything. And that's funny. And the gurus got it. They know it's funny. And that's the simple math and how little of you came here. Now, with practice and with a fairly constant willingness to live aware of this dance, you can perceive how much somebody came here. You can't do it. I hope if you perceive that coming here more is better than not having come here more. In other words, if the answer means something, you can't get the answer. You get some other answer, which argues for this being bigger than it is. This leads directly into something that I discovered fairly nicely in New York, which I really dug. And I thought of the name of the book I'd like to write on the way home from New York. It's called Why We Argue. And toward the end of the book, because I would have somebody do some research on argument that produced interesting things for people to read before I came in with what I want to say right at the end. Remember what I said in New York about arguing? Were you guys there? I'm saying you might have been. I don't know if I did it on Sunday or I did it when you were singing.
Oh, that's true. We left early that one day.
There was a justifiable 18-minute gap, I believe, in your attendance.